My day started, as it often does, with breakfast. Oh, by the way, that's Huey. Huey is my cat and probably the best thing about studying from home. My family adopted him from our local animal shelter and he's lived with us for over 7 years now. Despite being a bit older, he still acts like a big kitten. He is extremely friendly, and when I'm filming at home, he's often just out of view, sleeping on my bed. Like most cats, he is obsessed with food, so he often sits with me during breakfast or at the table during dinner in the hopes he can convince me to give him some leftovers. He usually succeeds. Right, come on, you can have a bit of milk. With Huey's appetite satiated, it was time to get down to work. The final day of term was rather busy. Before I had any scheduled events, I spent half an hour working on a particularly tricky energy problem sheet question which required some MATLAB coding to solve. My problem sheets that week weren't due until the beginning of next term, but I resolved to get them done as soon as possible so I could take the first week of my vacation as a total break from academic work. At 9 AM I had my first scheduled event of the day, a video call with my tutorial partner to discuss the week's dynamics problem sheet in advance of the tutorial later. Over my second term, my focus in these practice discussion sessions has shifted from mostly comparing answer methods to anticipating the questions my tutors will ask, which helps me and my partner respond better if similar queries are brought up. It also helps detect some of the smaller errors in my work, which I can then subtly fix before the tutorial starts. Total mass equals the volume of spin multiplied by density, so we can rewrite that in terms of an m and the other function. Straight after that finished, at 10 AM I had virtual tutors collections, which are a short feedback session where your tutors also brief you on some key logistics. In this we discuss my performance and arrangements for collections, the less formal exams we have at the start of each term. I was somewhat disappointed to find out I would have 4 collections next term, one for each of the engineering papers, and so would have to do a lot of revision over the holidays. However, it was nice to see some of my course mates again after having much less casual communication due to a term studying at home. So that is tutors collections over and done with. Quite happy with the feedback I got, they all seem fairly happy. A few points in terms of constructive criticism, but nothing really worrying me. I just have to make sure that I keep on working because a few of my midterm results this term were a bit shakier than I was hoping for. But yeah, just gotta keep working really. Then it was time for lunch, which was a ham sandwich and some fruit. There was a Q&A from 12 to 1 PM that day which I had on in the background whilst I ate. I usually do this so I can tune in for the questions most relevant to me without wasting energy focusing on aspects of the topic that I already understand well. After the Q&A was finished, I reshuffled my desk to get ready for my virtual tutorial. I currently utilise a 3-screen setup for these. I use my main monitor to display Teams and screen share my solutions, I use my laptop screen to view the problem sheet we're discussing, and I use my iPad to jot down helpful notes and corrections. Over Christmas, I treated myself to some new tech for my computer setup, and it has been totally worthwhile. Having a large monitor has helped my eyes feel much less strained even after long days at my desk, and my new USB microphone has worked fantastically for both video making and virtual learning. Hello! Then it was time for the tutorial. I ended the term with a bang by completely misunderstanding 2 questions on the sheet and was subsequently roasted by my tutor. But, as famous philosopher Kelly Clarkson once said, "What doesn't kill you makes you, or you might actually be quite bad at your degree." However, it wasn't all disastrous, so here's a snippet of me explaining how to find the moment of inertia of a triangle. Question 2. This one firstly wants us to prove by integration that the moment of inertia about either edge of this triangle is a certain value. So the way I thought was easiest to do this was use the standard formula and complete a double integral, and that came out as required. After that, I headed out for a walk. My lockdown life has been frankly rather dull, so a good walk is often the highlight of my day. The weather wasn't exactly brilliant as you can see from the threatening looking skies, but it wasn't raining at the very least. Where I live in term time is rather more hilly than Oxford, but I think it's worth it for the panoramic views. I finished the day with my 3rd and final singing lesson of term. These are arranged by college at no cost to me because I'm a choral scholar. My camera audio really doesn't translate the vocals particularly well. I promise I sound at least a little better in real life. Virtual singing lessons are an odd experience. Hearing myself only through a microphone and headphones instead of the normal sound took a while to get used to, but by the end of the term I felt much more comfortable. my teacher hopes to have in-person singing lessons back as soon as possible, so hopefully that'll be something to look forward to next term. That's it. Singing lesson over. Done. End of Hillary term 2021. And so, with little fanfare, term was finally done. Studying at home whilst facing some of the toughest work on my degree so far had been a huge challenge, but I could finally take a moment to refocus before resuming revision and preparing for my last term of first year. Mainly, I was just happy to have made it through. Upon learning it'd be in lockdown, I knew my second term would lack a lot of what I loved about my first, but on reflection, I think I made the best of a bad situation. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into my Oxford experience this term. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.